Nigeria, it's Moments Girls Talk. Tonight, we tackle the taboo subject of death. Should husbands discuss wills with their wives?
Why are we so afraid of the concept of a will?
I think we should also add, it's not even the men alone. Nigerians in general do not like to write wills. Same way they don't like to go to hospitals.
Our guests Iyabo Ojo and Abike Domina share their views on the subject of wills and inheritance.
He's late now. He died without a will. And his wife actually knew nothing about his properties, and so we lost almost all his properties to his workers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You know, and it was so frustrating, and now the wife is back in the village.
Kidding me?
Yes.
If a wife is telling her husband, like, write a will, the man can even send her packing, like, oh, so are you saying I'm going to die? Oh.
Yeah.
It all begins now.
My suggestion is talk to your future husband about it before you get married. I'm sure
run
people are watching
away.
going,
Welcome back to Moments Girls Talk. It's now time for us to get into the topic of the day. And at the beginning of the episode, I had explained that we're going to be talking about the taboo of wills generally in African communities. Now, on a previous episode of Moments, we'd had some widows come on the show, and they talked about their experience that when their husbands had passed away, they were not left with a will, and how hard it was for them to be financially stable, to support their kids, to send them to school, to even gain assets to their husband's estate. And it was very interesting because I think we were all very shocked because we're like, that's still happening in this day and age. And you know, you could see from their stories that it was a hard time. So we didn't talk about it that day. We just heard their stories. But I want to find out, why do you guys think that there's such a taboo in men writing wills, letting their spouses know that they have a will? Why are we so afraid of the concept of a will?
I think we should also add, it's not even the men alone. Nigerians in general do not like to write wills. Same way they don't like to go to hospitals. So let's break the ice from there. Like, why do you guys think that people don't write wills?
yeah, what do you
I
think?
think it's just an African mentality. You know, that happens a lot. I don't know why, but it happened because it happened to my uncle too. He's late now. He died without a will, and his wife actually knew nothing about his properties, and so we lost almost all his properties to his workers.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because when I came on board and I said, okay, I want to know where is his properties, what are the things he has, what's left, you know. Oh no, there's no money, oh, there's no this, oh, there's no that. Oh. And this one will come and say, oh, there's money, ask him. There's no money. You know, and it was so frustrating, and now the wife is back in the village.
Kidding me?
Yes, and I had to take one of her son, you know, and then she's got two to take care of.
Boy, that's so sad.
He wasn't. I was so shocked because he was doing fine. He was into oil and gas and all that.
Wow.
You know, and then the bank came, you know, this, he's owing. I mean, it was a whole lot of mess. And I just wondered why he didn't have a will.
I think it's just great because if a wife is telling her husband, like, write a will, the man can even send her packing, like, oh, so are you saying I'm going to die? Oh, you're a gold digger and all of those things.
I think it's an African mentality.
But I mean, that's, you know, it's interesting that you mentioned that because I'm not gonna pretend I don't know if I shared this last time, but I recently asked my dad, you know, and it was after that episode, and I was just like, oh, hey, daddy, just, you know, just have you written a will? And my dad's a very educated, exposed man. Like, he's traveled a lot, he's lived in a lot of different countries, and he looked at me and said, eh? Are you what are you saying? What are you trying to say? Are you saying I'm going to die soon? He reported me to my mom, and my mom said, eh? But I looked at him and I was like, Daddy, I'm not actually. You don't have to answer the question. I just want you to think about it.
Do you think it's because they moved back here and certain things have changed?
No, Michelle, my parents have been, I mean, my dad just recently retired. They've only been retired for a year. My dad was offended.
And then abroad, you find that people, when they get to a certain state also, they even know where they want to be buried. they go and pay for
They've
the
already
place
paid for the
advance.
in advance.
And they're
Like,
talking
when they
about
have
it with
one-
their
Some of them
children.
even do it with all their kids. This is
They
where
do.
you die, this is where you did, and they pay for it. But here, it's like that whole tradition thing. Sometimes we are our own biggest issues because
Yeah.
we're so religiously inclined. And I don't believe religion means you are a child of God. So many people are married to this religion, they don't really know what they are doing. And traditionally as well, a tradition has been imbibed. You bury your own children, your children will not bury
Must not
you. So
bury-
therefore, I mean, your children
You
will
must not bury your
So
children.
there's so many things that clauses that make people, you shouldn't be scared.
So
you should have a
culture,
will.
culture is a
Yeah.
factor.
Culture is a factor.
And I think also trust. I think a lot of men don't trust their wives or trust their lawyers. They feel, oh, if I have a will, my lawyer could come and kill me tomorrow, and you know, because that also
especially
can
when
happen.
we
Yeah.
But then your
Yes.
lawyer can't get your things
Yes,
unless you've left it to him. You can't forge. I mean, I
they
don't know.
do
If,
it,
I don't know if there are cases where they
When your
forged.
kids, when in a case where your child, where you die young, and your kids are really very young, you know.
Okay, but then the
and-
thing is that if you have children, like in the case of your uncle, you have children, why would you not leave a will so that your wife can take care of the children? It doesn't. It's
Well, you
like
know
it's,
what,
it
what
doesn't
she
make
said
sense.
was
to me.
really huge in terms of trust, because some people feel like they have, it's like a declaration of assets.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's,
Yeah.
that's
They feel
for
like
some.
I have-
That's for
even-
some
even
people. I mean,
men,
I've heard people say,
they don't
okay,
like
well, what
to
if she's
tell
going to
their women
remarry?
what
And
they
then,
have.
but then the thing is that for those who trust their wives, they're people whose wives know. You may not know everything, but you
Yeah.
know how much property or assets, etc. your spouse has.
Yeah.
And then you die, and your child is left in a situation like you said, where your aunt is being taken to the village. Your children are going to suffer.
Yeah.
A friend of mine whose husband was very, very wealthy didn't leave a will, and the estate was being contested by her brother-in-law. And for a very long period, this is a family that has a lot of money. It took years for her to be able to get anything. At one point, she was
Yeah.
struggling to pay her children's school fees. And I just thought, well, where is the will? He didn't leave one. How could he not leave a will?
Okay, so Abike, would you write a will? I mean, you're a fashion designer, and you see, would you ever sit down with a
Yeah, I do,
lawyer?
because even there's some things that I do that I use my daughter's name to
Do
do
you
it.
already have a daughter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's some things I do that I use her name because she's still the only one I have. So it doesn't. It's not like I'm thinking I'm going to die tomorrow, but I just use her
Yeah.
name. Like, let me just. Sometimes I don't want to use my name. Like sometimes I do insurance, I use her name.
You use her name. That's smart.
Sometimes I do shares, I use her name.
That's very smart. What about you?
I think it's just great because
Yes,
some men
I do
won't even
think.
tell you how much they earn,
I just
her
think.
salary. So how much more to like declare all they
Yeah,
have?
but that thing with men, I feel like sometimes, like even when you have a joint, like especially African men, it's an ego thing. So they like anything you think you know your husband has is because he wants you to know.
To know.
There's still something somewhere in one island, and I so you know I'm being honest. I went to a a woman's inspiring talk, and shout out to MEC Africa. She was on the panel. And she said something that was very revealing, and I'll share it with us here. She said that you ask a lot of women when you see a woman write second, what's
Your
that?
next
thing?
of kin.
Next of kin. A lot of women write their husbands, but like in her own position, she's seen that many men don't write their wives.
who do they
They
write?
write their mothers, they write their children. They don't write their wives. They don't. But you find a woman quickly. I want my husband. Just write him as and it's wrong. This is not about love. It's anything can happen to you tomorrow. The same way the man does not want you to move on. What if you die?
You know what? Okay, I'll just hold that thought for a second. We'll continue the conversation shortly. There has to be a lasting solution to this. My suggestion is talk to your future husband about it before you get married. I'm
might
sure
run
people are watching
away.
going, Welcome back to Girls Talk Moments. We're talking about the subject of death. The topic for today is much ado about death. And if you've just joined us, we've been talking about wills, why it is that in Africa people don't leave wills for their families. Iyabo has expressed her opinions. Abike has also expressed, her opinions. I don't know why people don't do it. I think things need to change. This is 2016. It's a sore subject, but I feel maybe it's in the hands of the women, because we are women. No, we need to be brave enough to bring it up with our spouses. It's difficult. We had mentioned even bringing up a will, and she'll sort of mention maybe, or we have to prepare certain things for the kids, etc. Maybe that's the way we need to look at it and approach it. I don't know. What do you think, Yab?
Yes, that's one way, but a very difficult way. Because men are very sensitive when it comes to things like that.
You just don't
So
want
what would you say would be the best way to broach the subject? It's a difficult subject to broach.
Yes, I know it's difficult, but I think when you start getting to that age of 50, 60, then they're kind of like, okay, yes, it's time for me to write my will.
You think?
But I think most times, what I think people should do, especially the women, if you've got any property or anything, I think you should just will it to your children. Use their name while you're still alive.
Because a lot of women have been shocked.
And that's why, I always say, full housewife thing. It's not.
You don't think it's a good idea?
No, it's
but
not.
What if you are a housewife? Because a housewife is a job. It's a full-time job.
If you're gonna be a full housewife, that means you must have a joint account with your husband that you run.
In
you
Nigeria.
must understand the kind of business he's into. You must know
A joint
about
account
his
in Nigeria?
properties.
How many people have that?
But some people still do it.
You have to, because like in her own case now, my uncle's wife's case, she was a full housewife. She wasn't doing anything. She didn't know anything, nothing.
And he might even be a 419 guy that they will end up shooting on the road. Not your uncle, just saying. Just saying.
No, it's true.
That,
it's crazy to think that which there's nothing wrong with being a homemaker or a housewife. If you're going to be a home, that's fine. But to think that I would be in the house and I believe that, my husband is providing for me and I don't know anything about his business. I don't know how many stores he owns. I don't know how much income he brings in. To me, that's just ludicrous because I think, I don't know how much my husband is making. Like, I don't know what he's doing with the money. I don't know how we're helping
buying
each
a
other.
house.
I'm laughing at you guys and I'm thinking to myself, you probably even going about it the wrong way. I'm not even bothered by all of that. Like, because I just said on this panel, you people not here, their men would declare what they want you to think they have. We've had cases of a man that the wife was joint account, spending things, and by the time the man died and they were going to read his will, 70% of what he left was to a woman who had children for him outside. So all that one she was enjoying while he was alive was all he had for her. By the time the man had gone,
what about the children?
The children outside had more than the one that she gave for him. So if you
that's wickedness though.
Yes, but that's what some of these guys do. You don't even know they have kids.
That's why you can't afford to be
a homemaker.
Yeah.
So what do you think the solution would be?
Find something to do. Don't
Find
depend on his
something to
will.
do. Don't depend on his will.
I think these days that's why people feel marriages these days, like women these days, they're now like their eyes are too opened, because they feel back then, who gave you the authority to ask a man that, what do you have? Have you left the will? So now we like the women these days, like they speak up. You can walk up to your husband and ask that, oh, have you written a will? Even if
has anybody done that? Even these days?
No, even if you ask, even if he gets angry, you guys can just sort it out. But I'm sure those days you're going for real. You can pack. You can send you package. So are you saying I'm going to die today?
Because they will start accusing you of being a witch. They'll start accusing you of planning his death.
And even if he tells his family, they won't see your points. They would say you're planning to kill the guy soon. And if his enemy should now die after you had that conversation, you are in for it.
Maybe a solution would be to talk about it before you get married, because you're discussing marriage, at that point, and then say, okay, you know what? Why don't we make a will? Because at least it's easier to mention it at that point. So you have a will, I have a will. No, I know that, but if you broach the subject at the point that, there's love, like you said, the butterflies is after to get married, you're discussing how you're going to, where are we going to live, what are we going to do, etc., etc. Maybe we should also prepare a will, because we're going to have kids. You prepare a will, I will prepare a will. It just came to me. If I say to him, I will also prepare a will. No, but I will prepare a will as well, because if we have kids and anything happens, you're saying wait until the man is older. But in my friend's case, her husband died in his 30s.
Yeah.
Well, I feel what I feel is another way you can go about it is just make him put all the names, with the kids.
A lot of their property and a lot of their businesses were in the children's names.
Yeah, so
at least 3.
So the children should be protected.
So the children should be protected.
But they didn't have access to it because of the way Nigeria is, and because the elder brother
because they have to be 18.
Kick them out of the house.
They have to be
18
or 21.
They were like very young kids.
All for money.
Well,
it's insane. There has to be a lasting solution to this. My suggestion is talk to your future husband about it before you get married.
He
I'm sure
might
people are
run
watching
away.
going, you
might
can't,
run away.
in this day and age, you can't take that risk.
Mother,
That's my
that's a girl.
suggestion.
That's for will. She might run away.
I think you should start giving me my own shares of property before he
That's
dies.
even worse.
No,
She
maybe
wants to carry my load.
it's better to look for a way how you collect things from him.
It's true.
Even if
I just bought a new house. Really? Whose name? My name? It has to be my name.
But then even you're talking about will. Do you know what she just said right now is deep? Because even when a man buys a house, how do you get your husband to put it in your name?
In your name.
And if you see it in your kid's name, would you be offended that you didn't put it in your name?
No, if it's in my
No.
kid's name now, because I know they're for my kids.
Okay.
So what I'm
Listen,
just gonna do is get a lawyer for those kids, you know, to.
She sounds like she's a tough one right here. All right, so when we come back, we'll check out our question of the day, and of course, our celebrities will share with us either a throwback picture or celebrity secrets.
I'm your wife. Like, I should be
Irrespective of how old the children are.
Yeah.
But what if you're as old as your husband?
Then that's
Then
fine.
I'll give it to
but
them.
I'm your wife. I
Yeah.
stood beside you when you built that empire. How can you leave it to the kids?
Because
If you get to
Bolin is
some
mentioning
certain
empire. What if there's no
age that you
empire?
get
Even
to,
if there's no
that's
empire,
it.
even if it's one spoon, I stood beside you when like what? The kids? No.
Welcome back to Moments Girls Talk. It is now time for our question of the day with the ladies. Now, the question of the day is something I spoke about already, then what Nimi talked about. So it's a very tricky question, but think very hard. It says, who should be the next of kin in a man's will? His son or daughter or wife? In a man's will, who should be the next of kin? I will answer first, his wife.
You think
I
it should be-
married you for next of kin in his will.
Next of kin in
I'm not
his
saying
will.
will everything to me. I list the next of kin. If anything happens to be the custodian of this, should be me. Even if you give everything to your children, let the next of kin be me. The children will not be wicked enough to strip me, their mother.
So fast.
Then the position of a
You
woman
know
will
something?
be
I also think it depends on what the wife is like. It depends because there's some women
Some
out there
women
to
too.
care.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, Michelle, if you marry a man, heaven forbid, knock wood, and he's passed on, and even this not that he didn't even will to you, you're reading his will and his wife's name is
I'm
not
not
even
mentioned.
mentioned.
Obviously,
It's
I'd be
offensive.
obviously you would be offended, but I think it depends on also how old the kids are.
Yeah,
If they're very young kids, then obviously
it has to go to the wife.
it has to go to the wife. That's the logical thing to do.
Yeah.
But if you have children that are grown and you want to leave them something, I personally don't think you must leave your children something. I don't think they should earn their own.
Yeah.
Make your own way. But if you want to leave them something and they're of age, leave it to them.
Medea, calculator. So all the time she slept with you, made
No.
your home.
She's talking about
So
diary
she
of a mad
doesn't,
black
she doesn't get
woman.
anything, but the
no,
kids
no,
get
but
it.
it's true because if you have grown children, I mean, why do you need to leave it to their mother?
It's really, that will even cause confusion because they're grown up.
And I think, well,
Or what
If
would
the
you
children
do?
are young, then by all
if
means,
the,
as long as
just
you're
like
still
she
with
said,
the
if
mother,
the children
then
are
yes.
young, then I think it needs to go to the mother.
Yes.
But if they're of age, I think the kids should have it because they'll take care of their mom. Definitely they will. They should.
Oh no, Ooh, no, I don't agree with that.
You don't think?
I think divide it. Leave for her and leave for them if you want to leave for them.
Do you
If
think
they have
your
good
kids
jobs,
won't
then
want to
give
take
it to
care of
your
you
wife.
when you're old?
Some kids
They
are
will.
wicked.
Some
They'll
kids
put you
are
in
wicked.
home.
Some children don't.
I'm sure if the mother was wicked to them growing up.
Some children
But
don't
they
want
feel
to
like
do
the mother
that.
is selfish and
Exactly.
want to make them work hard for
Work
money.
hard. But I think you should just divide it equally then.
Okay. What about you, Abigail?
I feel they should do the same. I go with her.
I would say they should leave it. I'm your wife. Like I should be. the
Irrespective
next
of how
kid.
old the children are.
Yeah.
But what if
irrespective
you're
of
as
how
old as your husband?
Then that's
Then I'll
fine.
give it to
but
them.
I'm your wife. I
Yeah.
stood beside you when you built that empire. How can you leave it to the kids?
Because
If you get to
Bolin is
some
mentioning
certain
empire. What if there's no
age that you
empire?
get
Even
to
if there's no
that's
empire,
it.
even if it's one spoon, I stood beside you when like what? The kids? No.
Not to leave it to the kids
No,
alone.
but to
Well,
be
to
the
be
next,
the next
I
of
should
kin,
be the
I
one
should be the next
responsible
of
to
kin.
decide what happens to your estate.
And it's weird how you guys all pick the kids, but this is what they were saying in that seminar.
you said
because many
next of
men
kin. I
do
thought you
not
could
pick their
spread it.
wives as the next of kin. And it's sad because there are many women who would think, I want to remain my husband's house. You think I'm being proud. Next of kin, they quickly write his name, Mr. Something something.
Well, sometimes it also depends on the kind of woman he's married to.
Exactly.
If she's someone who is not educated, who does not have that business zeal, doesn't have that passion, you know, some women
Doesn't know how to manage money.
Yes, some
Some
women,
women
there's
don't
no
know
amount
how
of
to.
money you leave for them, they're gonna waste it all because they don't know how to manage it. So if you're married to that kind of a woman, it's a problem because I've seen that too happen.
Who inherit money and
Yes,
squander
they
it.
give everything to her, and she just wasted everything.
Wow.
And likewise with some
You
people
know.
that leave money for their children.
Yes. So
Or
sometimes it
responsible.
depends. If I have 2 kids and one is not responsible, the other is responsible. The one who's responsible is going to have most of everything I
People
have.
have like rivalry when
Yeah, well,
It's
too bad.
inevitable.
Because I know,
It's
yes,
been,
at the
it's
end
been an
of the day,
interesting subject. But before we let both of you go,
Yeah.
we're going to ask both of you to share either a throwback picture or a secret. So which is it going to be?
I like secrets. I think it's
We like secrets on this show.
what
I'm sure the viewers
What kind
could
of
please share a secret.
anything.
anything.
It could be quirky. It could be anything.
You don't like sleeping with the lights off. What have we had? So
Something
many
that no
different
one
ones.
knows about.
Someone
Somebody
recently
came
shared
on.
that they picked their nose.
There you go. Another person said, okay, they can move their ears. We had a guest that shared a story of when they were, I think that when they were serving, they were doing the NYC and they had been punished for, was it kissing some girl or something?
I
don't
think
know.
I remember a story. I didn't know
Something
how
like
it went,
that.
but it was a sad story.
Something like
Do you know the
that.
saddest thing we heard on Moments?
The
guy,
dog.
the dog.
Adekunle.
Adekunle
Oh.
Gold sold
Yes,
He sold his dog for popcorn.
Yes.
sold his dog
He
to buy a
sold his
game.
dog. To
buy
buy a
video
game.
game.
To buy a
Video
video
game. And
like
he heard
Game
when
Boy
they
or
killed the dog
something.
as it was walking out. I was
Ah,
like,
yeah, that was wicked.
I've not been able to look at Adekunle Gold the same as his daddy. I judge
So
you every time I
anything.
see you.
I don't know.
I think I want a throwback picture.
You don't want a secret.
I don't keep
You don't
secrets.
have, really? Are you sure?
I don't have secrets.
You snore, something like that, no?
Okay, so let's check out your throwback picture.
Yeah.
Is that
Okay,
you?
is that you? What, is it the sun? They
I
had,
don't know,
they
I
had,
think I used to be darker than
oh really?
that time.
It wasn't just because you were serving and you were out, the sun was beating you like,
Yes, I think the sun, and that time I was darker.
really?
But that's, they always say that nobody's broke. You know, you just don't have any money. If you see some people's throwback picture, no, nobody's broke. You're just struggling. When you're struggling and when you've arrived, they're two different pictures.
No, but
Yeah.
sometimes people mix it. They when they see me, they say, "Oh, you're bleach." I'm like, well, I prefer to stay lighter than to be a darker person.
Really?
Yeah.
We need to get you
Yeah.
on another episode
Team
so we
light
can
skin,
discuss
no,
that.
I'd rather be light
You
than
just said team light skin.
Yeah.
Why is that?
because I see
likes
I
what
see
she
myself
sees
in
in
a
the
better
mirror.
shade than
You prefer the way you look now. Okay.
I want to look lighter. Than
Fair enough.
That's
You want
it.
to look
I
like
wish
this.
we could have called you for another
That's why I'm like, we need
episode.
to call her for another episode. I don't want to even go into this one now because we'll be here all day with that.
Okay, so what about you, Iyabo? Should we get a secret or a picture?
Okay, I've got Max. Yeah, but people don't know because I'm always covering up with makeup and all that.
You have a
What kind of
birthmark
birthmark?
on you.
Yeah, it's dark this way, dark that way. And that's why I went lighter because I was trying to look for things to use to kind of
like
tone
whose
it
birthmark and
down.
when you give birth, some
birthmark, some
birthmarks
people have
Yeah,
it. A
so
friend of
I
mine
have
has.
it like if I take this all off, you're gonna be like, really?
Wow.
Yes, but people
So
don't
you have
know.
it here and there.
You can't tell
Yes,
us.
yeah,
I can't see it.
No.
yeah, because it's covered with foundation.
No, but
and all
still.
that.
So you must spend a lot of money on foundation.
I do.
She's like, I do.
Thank you guys for being so honest. Those were
Thank
honest
you. Very,
secrets.
very honest.
Thank you for coming on Moments Girls Talk.
Yes, we
It
should
was
do
a lot
this
of
again.
fun.
This is fun.
It was a good episode. Good episode. Up next, it's going to be time for your moment.